Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. We're just going to talk this evening, family, about what's going on, the events that are going on right now, and how the Most High is working to turn the Gentiles' world upside down. See, many of the people here in the world are starting to realize there's something afoot. Things are not going as well as they thought they would. Woke up this morning to the story about the J&J vaccine being paused, and how around six women or so have had adverse effects, blood clotting, and one of the women has already died. But of course, what do you hear from the news? Oh, that's okay. The J&J vaccine wasn't that important anyways. It only made up like 5%, of the vaccines administered, so it's not a problem. Because you know what? For the Gentiles, nothing is ever an issue. Nothing is ever a problem. Now, the cases are rising. They're having breakthrough cases as well. And everything's like, oh, that's okay. That's not a problem. We got it all under control. Don't worry about it. That's how it is with everything. Not until the very last minute will they start to admit or be forced to admit the truth. I was checking out the Desert Prepper channel, and he was talking about how, what was the story today? U.S. military and NATO rushing 40,000 troops to Russia's border. Okay. Now, he keeps talking about how things should have, if Hillary was elected 4 years ago, that World War III would have happened then. But the whole thing was, it's based off of the Most High's time. What's going on right now is all based off of the Most High's calculations. And he saw fit to wait until the third year of Trump's presidency to start to shut everything down and give us that. His last year was pretty much the 1 year that was going to right before everything started to really, go crazy. It was his last year was pretty much the last year leading up to the Great Tribulation. Now remember that we started in March, and the middle, but 20th, 21st of March was our new year. A couple of weeks after that was Passover. Week after that, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Pretty much last Friday. Now look at how crazy things are getting. Vaccines being shut down, troops being rushed over to Ukraine and Russia, having emergency meetings. And from what the Desert Prepper was talking about, how they're moving troops to the east over the Atlantic into Europe in order for them to get ready for this world war that is setting up. What I'm seeing a lot is, I've heard their supposed sinners' prayer has just been all over the place. I would go to different channels, and they're all seeing the writing on the board. They're starting to see that writing that happened to Babylon when Daniel had to break it down for the king at that time. But their kingdom has come to an end. They've been weighed in the balance, and they're being found wanting. just like the people who have run this nation, and that how the Most High uses other nations, and that's what they were talking about. Paul was talking about on his channel, the Desert Prepper, about how the Most High uses other nations to take down nations. He was talking about, Russia taking down America. That's what he was talking about. It's just they don't go back far enough into history. They keep on just talking about recent events, recent wars. Of course, abortion came up, and how they've taken prayer out of schools, and how this nation used to be a Christian nation. I was like, where? When? But that's what they do. When was this ever a Christian nation? When did it ever have Christ-like tendencies? See, that's the thing. They can't come to grips with the truth. They cannot come to grips with what this nation has done to the Most High's chosen people. But the Most High is going to make them come to grips with it, and the Most High is going to expose them and show them, and expose all their actions to what they did to the Most High's chosen people. But I was checking out a couple of channels, and I mean, I said that Lord's Prayer has been hot on a lot of these channels the last couple of days. So it seems as if, they're realizing, hey, and it's funny because they say, do you want, remember, we talked about the whole 100%ers and how they want everything to be 100%. So I just kind of picked up this whenever one of them was talking, like, do you want to be sure? Do you want to be like 100% sure that when you die, you'll go to heaven? If you want to be 100% sure, then pray this sinner's prayer and you will be 100% sure that when you die, you'll go to heaven. See, even that whole thing, like I said, there's no sinner's prayer in the Bible. So again, that's all part of their Christian doctrine once again. And if you go around and you check out some of these Christian stations when they talk about that sinner's prayer, do you want to be sure? Do you want to be sure that, you're going to go to heaven? If you want to be sure, then just pray the sinner's prayer real fast. It's not supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be nice and easy. Don't worry, and it's funny. Some of these people are absolutely hilarious. They're talking about, well, there's some people are still waiting on Passover, so we're hoping to be, raptured on Passover. I was like, how in the hell y'all worried about being, how in the hell do you guys think your rapture doctrine is going to line up with the Hebrew feast days when you guys are doing Easter and everything else? It's just absolutely amazing to sit here and just listen to them. And this is one of the things I've heard today. I'm sure you guys have heard it before. The Gentiles talking about, because things are getting so bad here. They see, there's no way out. So I heard some Gentiles today talk about how I want to go home. I I'm gonna get raptured so that Jesus Christ can take me home. Hold on. This has been your home since 1492. You created this mess. You came here. You set the laws. You set the stage. You set the non-penalties for all of your actions. You've you have set up things where you guys commit crimes and you held yourselves not guilty. So now you've made this mess, and now you're saying that you want to go home. You want Jesus Christ to rapture you away and take you home. How do you think that you get to leave the mess that you created? How do you think that works? That you get to exploit people, destroy the natives, take their lands, get into wars, drop, bombs on Japan, go into different countries and steal their resources. And then now that, the chickens are coming home to roost now the situation is turning, the tides are turning. Now you want to say things like, I want to go home, I want to be raptured. Like your job is done. You destroyed everything, your job's done, now you get to leave. That just shows you the madness that is going on. Still not admitting to what you've done to the Most High's chosen people. Still not admitting to who the Most High's chosen people are. Now they're sitting here picking a fight with another superpower. And like Paul was saying, this isn't Libya. This isn't Syria. This isn't Iraq. And that's the whole thing. So that's why now many people are starting to get nervous. Many, I'm even hearing like on Marfugel news talking about how this isn't like the last 3 years where, this is like a different feeling. This is not like the last 3 years where things would kind of get escalated and then calm back down, get escalated and then calm back down. Things are going to get escalated and they're not going to calm back down. Not this time. They don't understand that the 400 years are up. The reason the last 303 years, has been escalations, and last, 5 to 10 years, even we've been in the truth for a long time. We thought that things were going to happen before, but the 400 years had not been up. Now you tell by the Most High's actions that the 400 years are up. So now when things get escalated, they're not going to calm back down anymore. And if the Most High is using, these other nations, well, of course we know He's using these other nations, but His will be done. The Most High is the one that raises up nations and brings them down. It's like these other people are like, oh, America's going to get destroyed. America's going to get destroyed. See, that's that same whole doctrine that the priest of Mahan has made up, that our own people have been parroting for such a long time, about how we're about to go into Jacob's trouble. But the Most High already showed us that that's not the case. We've been going through Jacob's trouble. The Most High, these other nations have been destroying the Americas, stealing the resources, polluting the water, the air, destroying the animals, everything. So now the Most High is about redeeming His people and redeeming His lands. See, the other nations are all stuck on just destruction, 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 and it's everybody's going to be destroyed. No, it's the people who have been destroying the Most High's chosen people, destroying His lands. Those are the ones that He's setting up for destruction. The Most High has chosen Israel. And see, and many of these other Christians are still, like I said, they're still talking about how now all of a sudden that this new Messiah has shown up for Ish. And I watched a short little video, and he was talking about how, well, now that that this guy is barely about to come on the scene, that we're going to get raptured because we're not going to be here when the Antichrist is here. They are so set up for such a huge fall. The Most High has their religion so twisted. He's got, these things, these events happening, and they seem to think they're getting ready to just get up out of here. World War III is right at the doorstep. They think they're just going to get up out of here. Because it's just amazing to see all these different events that are happening, and all the things they're putting on television to keep people's minds away from the rising of the Most High's chosen people. They're doing their best to try to keep them away from, the sudden destruction that's at hand. They keep saying that they love the Bible, but they don't use the Bible, you know, to pretty much substantiate any of the things that they've been talking about. And that's okay. They're not supposed to. Like we said, that's our job. But I just wanted to come and just talk to you guys about a couple of things I saw today. Some of the information that's coming along, them, calling up people, moving troops around, taking troops from the Americas over to Europe, getting them all set up, moving those troops off of the land like he said he would, setting them up, for a huge fight, a huge conflict, confrontation, and the Most High's will be done. Now I'm sure He's put it on even the other nations right now. They're feeling their oats at this point. Many of the times, these other nations would have always backed down to America and to NATO, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. What's changed? I'm sure these other nations are aware of the 400-year prophecy as well. The Most High's given them their courage because, like I said, that's what for 400 years, they knew not to mess with them. They knew not to mess with with America because they were still under the blessing of the Most High. And it's funny because some of these guys are talking about how America has been blessed, and what have we done to take away the blessing? Well, your blessing was only for a certain amount of time. Once that time is up, the blessing reverts back to the Most High's chosen people. So you guys can act like it's all these recent events, but as soon as you step foot on our lands here, the clock began to tick. And now that alarm has gone off, and now the Most High has moved the blessing back to his people. And like he always does, he uses other nations to tear down the bully or to tear down the country that has afflicted his people. Nothing has changed now. But the only reason you guys don't see it for the most part is because you still don't know who the Most High's chosen people are. And you refuse to admit the truth. You see the comments, they refuse to believe that it's so called black people. And that's okay. You're going to believe it, you're going to see it soon enough, and you're going to know it for an eternity going forward. All praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.